In a world that glorifies the grind, Selah is a sacred invitation to pause. Every other week, you'll find space here to slow down, listen inward, and remember who you are beneath all the noise. Through guided reflections, soulful conversations, gentle practices, and story-led journeys, Selah, a deep pause, offers rest. Not an escape, not to repress, but as a way to come home. This podcast is for those standing at the edge of change. You know who you are. The seekers, the sensitives, the high-functioning feelers, those ready to honor the quiet and reclaim their own rhythm. So come as you are and exhale. Then exhale again and stay for the stillness. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Selah, a deep pause. So this time we decided we'd bring in an invitation about community because it can be two things. It can be so beautiful, and because there's humans involved, boy, it can get messy sometimes. So we wanted to chat about that and bring some things to light. So Krissi and I are here to bring that conversation and see how we can illuminate it.
Hi, everyone. All right, Laura, I love this topic. I think mainly because a lot of times we're in community, it's just, oh, everything's just dandy and we're all getting along and we love each other and we hold space for each other and kumbaya, and none of us have personalities or preferences or any of those things. We all just la 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 la.
And we use our tools perfectly. We never get triggered.
Never, ever get triggered. Ever. But that is, if you'll excuse my French, a bunch of bullshit, because we are human and we do have preferences and we do get our feelings hurt and we do make mistakes and just be human. We're human. And, always do want to be in community and think that, oh, I'm living my best life. I'm the best version of myself, and I am, and I am, and I am, and I'm human.
Exactly.
You know.
And,
Mhm.
one of the biggest things that we're still learning and we're still navigating is how can we hold each other's differences, and that my feelings, my direction is honored and it's right. Your feelings and your direction and your expansion. Uh, can we hold the difference of it all and remain in community and actually finally use, it's like sometimes when conflict arises, we've got some of it going on with our community right now, right? I always like to describe it as, everybody came in and there were these tiny little plants, right? And we've all been transplanted into this community and they're small. And in community, we're sharing, bridges, we're sharing thoughts, we're sharing so much authenticity, means so much yumminess that makes the ground so fertile. And so then these little trees start growing and they start expanding. Some at different rates than others. And then all of a sudden, one just really does a big, like moves through something big and grows, and the branches come wham and slap somebody in the face.
Yeah, that it really is a really good analogy because, yeah, some get more sun at sometimes, some get more, shade. Some prefer more sun, some prefer more shades. Like they all have preferences. And yeah, I love that analogy.
Yeah. So you slap someone in the face with something you were moving through, and then it's like, oh, now here's the opportunity to go. You get to have your feelings. You get to have your, you know, actually one of the biggest things is right. We want everyone to encourage you to go is like, okay, don't start stuffing those feelings. Let's lean in. Let's talk to them. let's sit. Well, actually, even before you jump into conversation, let's kind of just let's sit with them. Why? Oh, why did that
Yeah.
upset me
Where
so
is this
much?
coming from? Like, where
Yes.
is this coming from? And
Mm-hmm.
I know for me, sometimes there's that gut reaction of, well, but you instead of, okay, let me respond from a place of taking a hot second rather than a place
Mm-hmm.
of, I will cut you.
It's like you and your spiritual ass, and now
Yeah,
you're coming in. I was like,
come on,
yeah.
let's go. Because that's
Mm-hmm.
an old, for me, that's always coming from something old that kept me protected.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When you come back at something rather than sitting with it, like you just said, there's something from my past that kept me safe by locking it down, not talking about it, walking away from it, or just plain going at it. Like there's so many different ways to deal with conflict,
Mm-hmm.
but it's typically coming from an old pattern.
Correct. And then we want to approach it and attack it with, and this is very disguised. There is an energy of I'm coming in to like win this, this dispute. I'm coming in to take charge, and it's a layer of control that man, control in this work is it keeps I always say it keeps sneaking up on me and biting me in the ass. And I'm like, really? That's still there?
I think it's one of the top things that comes in. It's trying to control everything, our environment, our people, ourselves, the weather,
Narrative?
like we're just the narrative. Yeah, just that which is completely not true because we have control of absolutely nothing. But our ego is like, no, if I control
Mhm.
this, I'm safe. I'm good. I can then possibly predict an outcome, you know,
Mhm.
that kind of thing. I don't know, it's weird. But and I'm wondering if we could even take a little step back when we talk about this perfect community that's really a myth because there is no perfect community and the perfect community versus an authentic connection
Mhm.
and what that really looks like because it's different. I don't believe that's the norm. I believe the norm is to push it down, ignore it, or scream at it, right? There's definitely
Mhm.
the option to scream at it, walk away from it, just be like, "Nope, that didn't happen. I'm just going to be over here casually hating you, but I'm fine. I'm totally fine."
Exactly.
So what
And that doesn't help, that doesn't provide that, then the safety of the community starts to get eroded in that.
or I think you've even talked about it before. You talk about how you create the foundation and then all of a sudden your house is built on stilts and it's just not it no longer has a solid foundation. You're just trying to puzzle piece things together and use ladders and everything to move things, and it just takes sometimes even something super tiny to just let it all falls.
Yep,
Yeah.
it really does.
So when we talk about conflict, what does conflict really mean in a community?
It's bringing to light where it's bringing to light things that need to be looked at. And a community always provides the best mirrors, and it's constantly reflecting. There's an area where, I mean, we're building barriers, we're building, walls. Let's first acknowledge how we're feeling. One, that's always step one. It's, um, I'm going to use myself as an example because, you know, recently there were some things that in my community that came to light, and it startled me, right? And I almost felt like I was kinda out of practice with it in a few months, and I mean, um, no, I feel like maybe I just navigated a lot because I know you pointed out, I was like, no, you ran into this." So it's like, no, sorry, I'm correcting myself. But I guess different conflicts hit me on different parts of my body. So this one, I mean, immediately I felt the weight on my back. And it was like, oh, and it's, my concerns of safety, making sure that, precautions are being taken with certain things, certain delicate matters, right? And so the first thing I did is, and I actually had a hard time doing it. I went in because usually I'm in the community, I'm on more in the leadership role, right? So it's like, whew, I was gonna just sit with my emotions myself. And I'm like, I have to come in. I have to come in and I need to let everyone see me in my like in my emotions, and my body was shaking, and I really didn't even know everything that was going on. So I just allowed whatever needed to be said, and allowed my body to show me where it still carries, so much, where fear still hits me, you know. Um it allows me to see, ooh, that felt controlling. Ooh, so I was navigating all of that for me initially. That that first move was for me. I had to see and feel. And sometimes when we're in our brain trying to, like, well, why did I was like, when you just are in the rawness of it and allow yourself to move through it, it's very revealing. Usually afterwards, because then you're kinda like, "Oh my god, I didn't realize this. Oh," I there's so many things that you're like, "Holy cow." And, then there is the conversation with, individuals. And in my case, it's one individual that I really have to have a conversation with. And in that space, it's, you know, giving myself the time to process. Because every time I'm like, "Okay, I'm ready for you. Let's have a conversation." And then everything I'm like, "Well, nope, I'm not done."
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not done processing my emotions. And because I it's so important for me to process my emotions so that when I go into this conversation, I can come in like this, and not with an energy of being in my mind, or with an outcome in what I'm being like right now, trying to attach myself to, once I have this conversation, it's going to give me this outcome. And I kept feeling that rising up for me. It was like every time I'm like, okay, I'm ready to talk. And I was like, I could feel my body going, like trying to organize itself, just like, this talk is going to create this outcome. And I'm like, whoop. And I literally have been like, nope, not ready yet.
Yeah.
But I'm checking myself, going like, oh, no, I'm not ready to have this conversation yet, because I'm still feeling that energy of uh that I need to control a certain outcome, and I'm like, oh, no, that's not good. I'm not ready to I'm probably ready to express my emotions, but I'm not ready to listen.
Yeah. I think that's the big part too, because I think you said it earlier. Sometimes I'm going to say winning component,
Mhm.
because I think it's everyone. I believe if there's an argument, typically we don't want to be wrong,
Yeah.
and not necessarily wrong and not right, but wrong in I did a bad thing or I hurt someone.
Mhm.
We don't, nobody wants to feel that,
Mm-mm.
but we do. It happens. It absolutely happens. And typically it's not intentional, but it
Mhm.
happens.
Exactly.
And
And
how we're able to sit with that and go, and also not go, I'm a shitty person
correct. There you go. Mhm. 'Cause that's where
because
I was
that
going. Mhm.
happened.
Correct.
Because that's usually the first, I think, shame and all of that comes in
Mhm.
immediately. Like, I'm an asshole. I'm an asshole. Why do I have friends? Nobody wants to be friends with me now because I am a jackass. Rather than, oh, shit,
Yeah. Whoops. I
I
didn't
did
see that.
something and it hurt someone.
Mm-hmm.
I feel awful. This in just what you were talking about, what you felt in your body, also for the person that may have caused the rift or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
That also, because I know it might even goes back to I haven't even done anything, and somebody's like, "This happened." I immediately go, "I didn't do it." It's a whole nother podcast.
Oh, yes. Oh, exactly. I
I
was actually surprised to hear somebody was like, "Oh, did I upset
Did
Laura?"
I
And I
do
was
that?
like, "Was it
Did I
me?"
do
And I
that?
was
It's
like,
like,
"Oh my god. No,
no.
no, you didn't."
But
You're not.
that is, that's the thing. But, for the
Yeah.
person, when I'll speak from an I perspective, when I do something that I think, oh my God, I've disappointed someone, I've hurt someone, I've done something. And again, didn't even realize I did it. Sitting with oh, well, okay. Having that conversation with that very uncomfortable conversation with that person and owning up to my part in it. And then also not giving myself the I'm an asshole treatment,
Mhm.
that I am a human and I made a mistake. And what can I do different? Or what do I need to do right now? What do I need to do right now? And I love what you said about the outcome. Um, because sometimes some of these things can't be repaired. Unfortunately, at least not in the
Yeah.
moment,
There
right?
exactly.
Not in the
Correct.
moment necessarily. Be like, no, I'm just kind of mad at you. So mad at you. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I'm here, and owning up to that. It's like, okay, if a person says they need time, whatever. Okay, can you let me know when you're ready? I'm here for that. I'm giving you the space. And I think that's super important as well because there's sometimes we're going to keep coming back in. Are you ready? How about now? You want to talk now?
Mhm.
And so now that process that you were describing that you were going through is important for both to go through to really sort through where it's coming up. And
Correct.
when you were sharing that situation, do you still feel that in your body now, or do you feel
Mhm.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
wondering.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I still feel it like it wraps around my shoulders and to the back.
Hmm.
Yeah, I definitely still do. It's something that's still uh not resolved, and not because anyone's doing, it's been my own process of going like, this has tentacles. This has, and I'm even been every day I'm like, "Oh," because, like some of it's tied to the moment that I left my previous mentorship, you know, and me, standing in what I believed and making certain decisions based on what was aligned for me. So it's showing me how deep it goes. And because, in this situation, my biggest thing is following my guidance of like, this isn't, in alignment with what you're creating, and the ripple that it had on me and the impact that it had on me before, of me having to go, "Oh, I know people are not gonna like my current choice." Like I knew it. And I knew it was gonna have an impact on the community, and yet the calling was so strong of going like, I I know this, and it did. My choice had a massive impact. And you know, and it was difficult to navigate. And so and every time I think, I'm like, oh, but look at all the beauty that I recreated because I made that choice and trusted myself. But then I have a situation that kind of puts a ripple in this new community. And I'm like, and I actually didn't see it at first. It's the longer I've given myself time to sit and go, why is this so strong? And I'm seeing, I mean, I'm talking and I literally feel like something pulling on this
Hmm.
side. It's
Yeah.
interesting. And it's pulling, yeah, I mean, it's pulling all on this side. And I'm like, okay, oh, there's still more for me to talk. And but like you were saying earlier, it's so sometimes when there's conflict. One, there may be one person that's ready to jump straight in the conversation, but can we honor, the parties involved? Can we honor everyone and where they're at and allow them space? And for if I'm giving, for example, you space and it's making me uncomfortable because you're telling me, Laura, I'm not ready for you.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh, I'm over here sitting and like, oh, because then my story maker then can start going nuts, going like, "Oh my god, that's it.
Never
She's
gonna
never gonna
talk to me
do
again.
it
She's never going
again."
to be my friend anymore. What are we gonna do? How do I do like, you've already planned out the rest of the next 10 years without this person in your life when your brain starts
Correct.
spinning out. Like, it's amazing the stories that can go through when your blood pressure is high and you're just like, everything is terrible, and it's like, she just asked for space. And it's just going, "Okay, she's taking space, maybe I can take some space," or,
Mhm.
something like that. Because it is yeah, if I think every person listening has been there where they're like, "I don't know what to do now. This is super uncomfortable." Mhm. It
Yep.
is. It really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And our part is, can we then, why is this so uncomfortable for me? Why are these fears rising up? And um I I've been really surprised that at the layers of clarity that in where it keeps showing me the longer I sit in it. I'm like, I'm seeing more parts where there's parts of me that are still hurting. There's parts of me that are still healing. Um, honestly, and let's just bring this forward. I was talking to one of the ladies in our community, and um, as I was talking, I mean, just spirit just took over, and she laughed because I even look at the recording. I'm like, it's just something took over, and it was taking me back centuries. And it's just like women specifically are healing from the a very old trigger of betrayal.
From each other.
And from each other.
From each
Yes,
other. Mhm.
exactly.
Yep.
Because it was very apparent that women, and I was telling her, I was like, and you have felt this. I said, because when we gather, when you guys come to my home, you 10x me. When we're all together, when we're in groups, we 10x each other. I mean, you have felt what we access. You have felt what we feel. You have felt what gets created. We don't have those experiences to that level when we're on our own. Yes, we're having our own, but there is something that is unexplainable when women gather.
Mhm. 100%.
And I said, I'm actually really happy to see how many of you guys are communicating and leaning in and letting yourself be seen. I said, because I mean, this is something that we're healing not for just for ourselves, but I mean, it goes back centuries when we were pinned intentionally against one another.
Yep. That pitted against each other, and I think I was just reading a book or watching a TV show, and it was a book, and it was, um, a fictional book about witches, but the woman
Mhm.
was being taken, she was being shackled, and her friend was the one that was accusing her, and she's like, "Why are you doing this to me?" And she's like, "So they don't do it to me." And that girl against girl, women against women has just that woven so tightly into our conditioning.
Mhm.
It is you can when you see it, especially if you're able to step outside of it and see it and go, "Oh, well, I've done it. I am completely guilty of doing it many times in the past." And I look back at that and I'm like, I'm so sorry. The part that I played in that pitting us against each other, because that's what we observed, right? That's what our parents did, and that's what
Mhm.
their parents did. And to your point, it goes back and back and back and back and back. And that's what they were doing to keep
Mhm.
themselves safe. So they didn't know. But yeah, when we're together, we do these amazing things. And when that trust feels like it's broken, it's almost immediately going back to
That wound.
that, oh, y'all are bitches and I don't need to be here.
Mhm.
Right? It's almost immediately back to high school
Mhm.
and immediately back to Mean Girls or whatever, however you want to say it. But I like what you say is the sitting with it and going, okay, I'm going to do this different. Instead of retreating, instead of going back to my old patterns, I'm going to let them know that my feelings are hurt.
Mhm.
I'm going to let my community, my friends know this hurt me. This is where I am, and I'm working through it. And being a person that's listening, going, okay, okay, all right, I respect that. Because watching and observing that is amazing. It's absolutely amazing to watch it and go, okay, there was conflict. This happened. We move everyone who's involved, move through it one way or another. And on the other side of it, we're still okay.
Yeah.
We're still okay and moved through it, not ignored it so that could not so that eventually can come back later and pop back up again. Because when you ignore it and you don't move through it, you don't feel it, you don't cry or yell or whatever it is that you want to do to move through it, it's gonna come back. And it's gonna come
Yeah.
back stronger
Yep.
and it's going to come back quicker and it's just
Mhm.
going to continue to solidify that old belief that all women are against you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really interesting how we're pivoting into the women in this story. I love where this is going. But yeah, and this is why um the illusion of community being perfect, um you're setting yourself up to fail. No, community is a place where if you have felt safety, that when that safety feels threatened, all we can do is, where's this coming from? And then lean in and give your community an opportunity to hear you, to hold you. Um, I mean, you and I have seen it when people get hit with that, they get shocked, and then, you know, everybody's just everybody's willing to lean in. But when there's individuals that don't want to, they just hit the eject button and it's just like, oh,
Because that
you
feels
know.
well, that's known because that's a known behavior, right?
Mhm.
I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. You've hit too many of my buttons. I'm out.
Yep.
And to observe people staying, and I've been learning to do it myself because it is not easy for me. I was
Mm-mm.
personally is not. It's my default has been okay, fine.
Same thing. Yep.
I'm out. Mm-mm-mm-mm.
Mhm.
I don't need you, you know, rather than, you know what? I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna see how it goes. I'm gonna do this a little different and I wanna see how it goes.
Yeah.
And it has
And
been and it's still something I walk into very slowly, like, "Ooh, I don't know how I wanna say this." Like, I even can recall having a conflict in the community and coming in and saying my piece about it, and I
mhm.
just remember my entire body was just lit up, like, my hands were shaking, all the things of just saying some words about how I feel about what was going on. Still can feel it, just still feel that because it feels so, I'm gonna say unnatural,
Mhm.
because again, my previous default was to cut and run.
Yeah. Correct. Well, and it goes back to the foundation of trust. The biggest foundation with trust is starts with you. Yeah. And can I trust my intuition of how I know that person did not mean to, and so can I trust me, and that my own trust that I've built within myself allows me to create access. It gives you access to go, take a deep breath and let's lean in, you know? again, versus sometimes, everyone's hurt is like, they already hurt you, you went in again? Shame on you. That means that, I mean, what does that say? That if I ever screw up, I'm out? I, I'm not able to make mistakes. And now mind you, once people start doing it over and over, then you're like,
I was
"Oh,
gonna say
okay.
there is
Mm,
a pattern.
there's a
There
limit."
there is a
There's just like,
pattern that you have to be aware
well,
of.
and then that's about honoring you and go, "Oh, okay. This is just not honoring to me anymore." But am I gonna give you an opportunity to engage? And am I going to, especially the work that we've been involved in, right? Am I going to trust this work and lean in and have the conversation? Yes, because I've seen the beauty, that the freaking just beautiful things that are birthed when we do. You know, we have a our group that we call our OG group, right? We go back several years, and it's been beautiful, the conflict and the differences of opinion, which there's a lot of them. We're all very, it's really interesting. Like that group specifically, that group of us is like, we're all so unique and so different and have very different opinions. And the, the absolute richness of our conversations is incredible. And that's what's possible when we continue to go as like, I didn't like what you said. And now let's keep going into, let's keep talking. And I don't love you less. Mhm.
Yeah, I love offering up the possibilities of what could be of the, "Oh, I can sit here and be in the high school he said, she said thing," or I can take a step back and just be like, "No, I don't agree with what you said, but it gives me a different perspective to think about, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be, 'I'm right, you're wrong.'" Yeah, and I think we even talked about, in the last few episodes, we talked about the listening.
Mhm.
So when we talk about conflict, there's usually outward, a lot of outward,
Mhm.
but it's
Mhm.
the listening, because I found sometimes in certain situations where there's been conflict and people are coming in and saying their piece, and I hear the lack of listening. I was like, "I
Yes.
heard the same thing you heard, and that's not what I heard. Then I did not hear the words you heard." But we are listening, just like we see through different lenses, we're listening through different filters. Our filter is taking whatever was said and it's literally been like, this is "I love you" turned into "I hate you." It's like, that is not what this person said. This is what I heard. But we hear in that listening that we talked about last time, right? When the hearts shout, it's almost like
Mhm.
it's almost turns it down as well, turns our ability to hear down.
Because we're literally hearing through our stories and not hearing through a closed heart, which reveals way more truth. Yeah. Yeah. And so communities are beautiful opportunities to to give to give the people you care about, an opportunity to respond a little different, notice, hold you, listen, and the rupture and the repair, which is um when people lean in, and some of the best. I mean, we live it with our OG group. Um, is the rupture and repair. Um, it's we can hold a whole lot of differences and all still genuinely like love each other, and it just goes deeper. I mean, it's felt. It's a gift.
Yeah. And I think one thing also when you're in a group, that conflict, having conflict, and this is true in any relationship, is actually it's healthy.
Yes.
If you are in a relationship with one person, 15 people, there isn't conflict, something's wrong. People are
Mhm.
wearing masks. They're not showing up as their true selves. I
Mhm.
mean, if you think of, kindergartners, right? They're usually children are still in their most, they still don't have all of the things built up in them. There's going to be conflict. Throw them out on
Mhm.
the out for recess. Someone's getting in a fight. Someone's going to get knocked down. Somebody's getting their feelings hurt. Someone's, going to push somebody. Somebody's going to do the things.
Mhm.
But it doesn't mean that they shouldn't go off for recess because that's where there's the opportunity to go, oh, and to learn. And I think you talk about rupture and repair and that real repair versus a cheap reconciliation. And I think that's where a community thrives is where there is that conversation, where someone comes in and says, all right, this is me. And kudos to you for doing that because I don't think a lot of people, there needs to be someone that goes first,
Mhm.
right? And then the next
Mhm.
person will come in, they go first for them, right? And still keep going
Mhm.
in and going, oh, okay, okay. It's not just the, no, it's okay. I'm all right. No, it's fine. Okay, no. And instead of, okay, this this feels better. This conversation, this rawness feels better. And it starts building back that foundation of trust that might have been lost.
Correct.
And I think in most cases makes it stronger.
It does. I mean, every time we talk about rupture repair, it's just I always just see that bowl. I wish I remembered the name of that bowl, but the one that's broken and then it
The
gets recreated.
kitsugi.
The bowl with the gold
It
that holds
Yeah,
it back together.
yeah, we're doing really great here.
You know that thing?
I think it's
But
kitsugi, but I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing it
yeah.
wrong.
Yeah, but it's so strong, almost unbreakable. It can hold so much.
I've now got to Google bowls with gold, right? You know, you know. Yeah, I know how to do
Some
it.
people are like, "What are they talking about?" But I mean, you know what we mean. Um,
Everybody's yelling it. Kintsugi, Kintsugi. Good lord. Yeah, people are probably yelling it. It's kintsugi. Okay, you're
yeah.
saying it wrong. Okay.
But it is, it's real. We have had an opportunity to test that with several relationships, and, um, and it's beautiful. So that's why, we like to invite people to lean in and have the difficult conversations, but also if you're charged, first sit in your charge. Why am I so charged? Because the more you understand it, then you can go in from a place of not trying to achieve an outcome, a win. In the achieving an outcome sometimes seems, you can do that in a boardroom, you can do that at work. But with relationships, it's not about that. In relationships, the second you attach yourself to an outcome, you are no longer in a place of heart. You're no longer open to hearing, being changed by what you hear. Um, and you're just not giving that relationship the fertile ground that relationships need to to grow.
And to get off the pattern. Get off the
Get
merry-go-round. Get off the
get
pattern.
off. Yes.
Like, how do I get off this highway? Off on the
Mhm.
exit. Um,
Mhm.
and so I think I heard you say if someone's looking, I'm sure everyone has at some point in time in their life run into conflict. And so what I heard was take a pause and sit with it and just, why is this coming up for me? Why do I have such a visceral, whatever the reaction is?
Mhm.
Why?
Mhm.
Just be with that. And, it's easy to be with it also where it likes to spin out in your head. So when that spin out starts to happen, what can someone do to ground themselves? Okay, all right, Laura, I'm going to sit with it. But in my head,
Mhm.
I'm going, this son of a I'm gonna and this is happening and then all of a sudden we're knee deep in we just went down the rabbit hole of all of the things that happened.
Mhm.
And so when we talk about trying to get back to the where am I feeling this? Like what
Mhm.
can someone do when sitting with it? Because again, very easy to spin out. How do you bring
Mhm.
yourself back to just be with it?
You have to take time to, because even when you do that, you will still have, you know, what's funny is that when I notice that when I'm busy doing other things, it's almost where I have another brain spinning out over here. But it's when I have to literally stop and I take a deep breath. And I've gotten really good about asking my body, is like, what are you trying to show me? And I sit there. Or sometimes I need to put music, because sometimes if I notice if I don't have music going for me, it that way my response is being influenced by music, and then I can sit and tune in, see where I'm noticing it in my body. Sometimes when we're spinning out, it's also really good, and this is, I know, uncomfortable, but sometimes we need help. And so sometimes talking to somebody else that can reflect a few things back in a different perspective makes you go, "Ooh, yeah, I didn't like that." But it's true. Okay. You know, it's having a conversation with somebody that's not involved, that is trusting, that, that you can literally, that's just going to honestly not join the bandwagon against the other person. That's not the right person to talk to.
Yep.
It's the person that's willing to reflect back what they're feeling off of you, or that can help you ask a few more questions so that you can dive in a little deeper. And that helps you, because that way you're not defensive, and it helps you go and drop into a willingness of like, why am I having this experience? And a willingness to be able to feel, your part. Because that's all we can do is, I can feel my part. Um, because boy, when I was spinning out, I was creating all these other narratives, and it was like, whoo, that's why I'm like, I'm not ready to talk to you. Because you're a monster, you're this, all these things, right? That are, just spinning in my head. And I'm like, ooh, yeah. I go, there's a charge in me, and I've got to sit with this as long as I need to find it through conversations, you know, through me sitting quiet. Um, and honestly, sometimes when I sit quiet, it doesn't come in at that moment. Mine tends to come in a little later.
Mhm.
It's like all of a sudden I'm watering the yard, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, there it is. Oh, and it just starts to unravel and point at the parts of me that are still hurt, that, still have fear with certain things. And then now I can go, okay. And the full charge may not be fully gone, so don't expect that it's going to be completely gone. But the more you understand it, you can then allow yourself to go back into a space of vulnerability and have a conversation without, you know, bullet points about all the reasons. No, just allow things to flow from a heart space and not your brain, because your brain will create some crazy stories.
Yes, as it does. And again, typically to keep you safe, keep you in control of
Mhm.
things, right?
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I think I'm not a fan of conflict. I don't think anybody is,
Mm-mm.
but it really does it helps weave a stronger relationship if you're able to if you're able to, one, unravel some things to weave something new. And I think
Mhm.
it's it's just amazing to me when you're able to move through and get to the other side of it, just great things occur from there.
Mhm.
Yep.
Opportunity, 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 opportunity. Conflict is always opportunity if we're willing to self reflect first and then lean in from that space.
And not be tied to the outcome. I think that's it because I know it just popped in my head. There's probably up the people out there listening, but girl, I'm right. But I'm right.
Mhm.
But I'm right. Okay. Okay. Do you want to be right or do you want to resolve this and move forward?
Mhm. Yeah.
You know, there's I just can because I've done it. Like, but I'm right. See that with children a lot, right? But I didn't do it. And okay.
Mhm.
Yes, maybe.
Yeah.
And what do you want out of this? Do you want to continue down this road and just stay on it and be right? Because you can be. You'll be right
Mhm.
till the day you die.
Mhm.
Be right till the day you die.
Yep.
But maybe just not even worry about who is right or who is wrong. How do I listen? How do I move through
Yeah.
this? How do we move through this?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. And it's really interesting as even as you're just saying it, it's like you can I could reflect on like so many times how I just moved through the world just with my that's how I achieved. That's how I accomplished. That's how it was like I had to be right.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, right means you got the A. I mean, it's to be right is to be correct is to be the way we move through the world.
Mhm.
We all have to be or are expected to be act, be, achieve. There is that expectation out there. And if
Mhm.
we're right, then we're not wrong. And if I'm not wrong, there's no shame. And it just kind of keeps pulling back from there. So it turns in, I just need to be right. I need to do things right all the time.
Mhm.
That makes me want to fall to pieces just thinking of that stress of
Mhm.
having to be right or wanting to be right or my brain saying
Yeah.
oh, you did it wrong. You did it wrong. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. What are we going to
Mhm.
do? Oh my God.
Mhm.
It's terrible.
Mhm. Yeah, you're literally I mean, this little last part of the conversation is really interesting because I remember living my life having to be right, and and I know because it literally I could feel it, my lower back was kind of doing this. I could feel energy moving through my lower back, and that's where my chronic pain
Mhm.
existed, you know? And so when I used to have all that chronic pain, a big part of it, it's like it's my body still talking to me right now, is like it was that energy of and I remember somebody, one of, an an underwriter at one point told me, is like, when Laura would call, is like sometimes 3 underwriters would come into the room. You go like and I'm like, "What do you mean?" And she goes, "Because you were a bulldog." He goes, "You were going to win no matter what." I was that just memory just popped in right now, and I was
That's
feeling it in my
interesting.
lower yeah, yeah,
And you would
and
never have seen yourself through that lens. You probably were like, no, I
that was really
was,
nice.
I was very nice and I just was efficient and I got everything done. That's different.
Correct. Oh, yeah, no, exactly, and I what's so funny is that when she told me that, I mean, it landed, and I'm like, "Where is she getting that?" But then I remember, reflecting that to Tim, and he goes, "Laura, you don't stop until you get your way." And I'm like, "Wait, what?" And
And
I that
that's when
was
you say, I don't stop or I didn't stop.
exactly. Well, that was before a lot of this heavy work, right,
Yeah.
that we've done, but it was in the right before 2019 when I really started diving deep into this work, but it was some of those moments that made me go, "Oh my god." And when I finally was in a place that I was willing to see that and go, "These are with people that, like, I really love, and yet
These are people
they
I liked.
yeah, these are people that exactly, that I like." And even then, they had to kinda hold hands. It was like, "Here she comes. Don't let go because she's gonna plow through us." And I'm like and so now mind you, that was for work, but still, imagine how that carries into relationships.
Yeah, we usually don't drop it at the at the
Yeah.
threshold of work.
No. So it's like, wow. Oh, wow. It's just really interesting how that just all came in. Yeah. Oh, yeah. My back really, right. So interesting. My back literally feels sore just talking about that because of how much that used to be a big part of my life. Wow. It's literally going woof, woof, woof. Like, wow.
It's like, we're not going there again, right? I just wanna check in and just
Yeah. My
let
body
you
is like,
know.
we're not doing this anymore. Right. It was
Yeah.
like, wow.
And it's so
Yeah.
funny because you titled this "Sacred Tension," and the tension I think you were talking about is tension between people, but that
Mm-hmm.
tension lives in your body. Tension.
Correct. Yeah, because this whole time we've been talking, my body's been like, when you'd say something, it was like, "Oh, that's here," or, it would move over here, and it was like, now we're talking about, outcomes, and it's all in my lower back, and I'm like, "Wow." Yeah, my body's just kinda like, I remember."
We're not going there, right? Please no.
Like, "Please,
No, thank
no."
you.
Exactly. Mhm.
Prefer not to, thank you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
I always love these episodes because we never know. We have all these, and then it just
Woo, where are we going?
It's
So,
like, we
Laura, do you
just
know what we're
gotta
gonna
test
talk
it.
about today?
Here are a
Here's
few
a
bullet
script.
points.
Nope. Me write some nope, we didn't hit any of those. That's okay. That's okay. No, I think this was amazing. I think it's so important because I don't think we talk about the things we don't want to talk about.
Mhm,
It's one of those things we don't want to talk about. Being vulnerable, we don't want to talk about it. Sitting in the discomfort, we don't want to talk about it. We don't want to do it. And I think the more
mhm.
we talk about the whole thing around women against women, that lights me up. Like I didn't even know we were going to go there. That
No.
completely just like I think that is such a huge thing that we're able to when we do this and we work through the conflict and we say our piece and we are heard, that breaks that down. That starts to, and I'm going to say it just starts to disassemble the patriarchy. It really does when we're not competing against each other and trying to, push
Mhm,
the other one in front of a bus. That's where we have real change. That is where we really
mm.
start to make the magic happen, in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. We see it. We see it, we see it, we see it, and so we have to take care of it. Yeah. All right.
I
Well,
love
I'm
this
feeling
conversation.
I know. I was
It
like,
was great.
this I love where this went. Thank you, spirit. Oh my god. Well, all I've got is a little somatic practice and a little closing. Anything before we close out that
Nothing for
you've got
me.
to add?
No, no. This was
All
great. Go ahead.
righties. All right. So I'm going to take you through a small little somatic practice and then a closing blessing. So take a moment to bring to mind a conflict you've experienced in your community or in a special relationship, whether recent or long past, and notice where it lives in your body. For me, one of the conflicts we just spoke about was straight across my upper back, as if I were carrying a weight that wasn't just mine alone. Where do you notice it in yourself? And once you notice it, let's place a gentle hand there and breathe into that place. Breathe into it deeply, allowing yourself to connect with it and see what happens if you simply stay present with it. Sometimes your body wants to flinch, sometimes you get a little antsy. That's your body not wanting to sit with it. So I invite you, stay present with it with no energy that's rushing to fix it, that's rushing to push it away. Just stay with it and breathe. These are simple practices that you can use. Um, and notice when your body, I mean, I went through it just recently where I was sitting with it and my shoulders were bothering me and I could feel my body was twitching, but it was resistance. My body was trying to resist feeling it. So you may go, "Oh, I can't do that." And it's like, "No, you can." It's what you're feeling, the antsiness or the thoughts going like, "Oh, I got to do this." Your checklist that, it's your body distracting you. It's everything distracting you from the root cause. So I invite you to take some of these somatic practices. So now I'm just going to take you out with a closing blessing. May our conflicts become classrooms of compassion. May the fractures we fear become the very places where light enters. May trust be tested and found deeper, not thinner. And may our communities grow strong, not because we avoid tension, but because we dare to hold it together in love, in truth, and in courage. Aho.
Oh, all right.
That's a wrap.
Amazing. That's a wrap.
All right. Thank you for pausing with me. May what you heard settle gently in your body and stir something true within you. If this episode spoke to your soul, please subscribe and share with someone else who might need this pause as well. Until next time, come as you are, take a deep breath, and stay for the stillness.